In this video, I'm going to share how to find places to park and sleep during the night when you live in a vehicle. As always, I'm gonna keep it real and I'm going to shine the light in the issues that a lot of people that lives in vehicles are experiencing at night. All the things that you're about to hear are from the experience of somebody that has been living on the road for 10 years and never had a Sprinter van. I am a little different than other van lifers. I've been doing van life before it was a thing, so what I'm about to share with you is 100% facts and real. Stick until the end of this video because I'm about to share a lot of good information and tips about how to find the best place to park without getting bothered by anybody. So stick until the end, like, subscribe, and let me just explain. I'm gonna start by saying that my first vehicle that I lived in, it was a 22 feet Chevy Coachman RV from 1976, and that thing looked rusty. That thing was loud, that thing was not a stealth, and it was before van life. It was cool and everybody liked it. It was when people really believed that you were a tweaker, and when I'm saying a tweaker, it means a drug addict. Living in a big RV that doesn't look good and is rusty is definitely not the same that living in a brand new Sprinter van. I have a lot of experience knowing when you're not welcome somewhere. So with that thing, it was really hard to find a place to park during the night without getting hassled by the neighbors or the police. So let's say that size matters in this case. The bigger your vehicle, the more problems you're gonna have. Over 22 feet, 19 feet, things get messy and people don't like you around. If you are looking old and rusty, you're definitely gonna get targeted. They're gonna make your life hell. And I know because of experience. I got targeted by the cops when I had my RV that was really old, and they were basically putting me tickets every night. And there is this law that if they put you 5 tickets and you haven't paid them, they will impound your vehicle. That means that you will be on the streets like many of the people that are living on the streets in California, and that's why. This is the rule why a lot of people lose their cars, their RVs, or their vehicle, because cops, they target humans and put them tickets for vehicle habitation, for double parking, for oversized vehicle, for whatever they want, to be honest. Sometimes if they really don't like your vehicle or they don't like you, they will find a way to put you tickets over and over and over. And that happened to me in the past. I know this for a fact. It's happened to me. I'm not making this up. And I talked to several homeless people that they did the same tactics. They just keep putting tickets. They don't care that you don't have money to pay them. They laughed at my face before, even holding my keys while the tow truck was impounding my RV. They laugh at you and they don't care that you're staying on the street. They don't care. If you start getting a couple tickets and it's the same cop, that is normally what's going on, like normally the same cop. So when that happens, I would suggest that you leave that town for a very long time until that cop just forgets about you. Then I lived in a completely decked out 4x4 off-road vehicle. It was a Ford Econoline, completely custom with a 6-inch leaf, 35s on, and it looked really good. It looked badass, and a lot of people really liked that vehicle, but it still was big. So in cities like LA and other counties, there is ordinances against tall vehicles. Means that if you're 7 feet high, you're gonna get a ticket. That's a rule that is increasing around the coast of the West Coast. They're putting more tickets for vehicles that are like vans and stuff like that, so they kick them out of town. Right now I'm living in a 1985 Volkswagen Westfalia T3. This thing is really small. If you are claustrophobic, definitely don't live in something like this because it's definitely very small. But I like the use of the space and I absolutely love it. I would say that this is my favorite vehicle I had. I'm not a person that spent 150K in a Sprinter van, and I went through all the stages of van life, from the most rusty to one of the best overlanding vehicles that you can find on the market. And I can tell you that if you're in the wrong place at the wrong time, you will get the knock, you will get the ticket, or you will get that neighbor annoying you. What I think about this law of not being legal to sleep or live in your vehicle, I think is some BS, to be honest. I mean, how are you making it illegal to live in your own vehicle? I just can't understand why it would be illegal. And when I'm saying this, it's not just in the US. Also, in Europe, it's also illegal to live in your vehicle in many places. So it's not just here, it's also in other places of the world. Call me a rebel or whatever you want to call me, but I do not support that law, and I am basically living against it. Why I think it's important to talk about this is because I don't think it's okay to put tickets to people that are living in vehicles, and mostly to people that have no other options. And this is when I get really pissed off, is because I've seen people that they actually had a vehicle and they lost it because they barely had any money to pay the tickets. This is a big issue, and if you agree with me, then leave a comment down below. I think it's not okay that we're getting tickets for living in our own vehicles on the street, not bothering anybody. I mean, if you are somebody that is dumping their pee bottle or dumping trash or making a bunch of noise, I get it. Call the cops. They don't supposed to be doing that. But if you're quiet, minding your own business, sleeping inside of your vehicle, it should not be a problem for anybody. And when I say anybody, I'm talking about the police. I'm talking about the neighbors around you or anybody that is passing by to care about you. So I'm bringing awareness to this issue. I think it's unhumane that you're treating people that lives in a vehicle differently. And no, I'm not gonna just consent that people on my comments tell me that I'm not following the law. Come on, dude. The law sucks and it's time to change it. It should be illegal to put tickets to people that lives in vehicles, because it's better that they are in a freaking vehicle than in a tent on the side of the road. That's why this video this week is so important, because I've seen people that the only place they had to stay was their vehicle, and now they're on the street because they put them 5 tickets and they had no time and money to pay them, and now they don't have anything. This is where I woke up. I woke up right here. Like you can see, it's a very glamorous. Right there we have somebody that slept on a tent, and I slept in my van, so I guess I feel privileged that I had a place to stay for the night. And right now what I'm gonna do, I'm gonna go to a donut shop and I'm gonna buy a bunch of donuts because I gotta go to the mechanic again because this van is acting up. I'm gonna tell you what's going on with her. I literally just slept by the donut shop so that I could get the fresh donuts in the morning. It's past 7 right now, so I must get some fresh donuts. I'm not sure which one Julio is gonna want, so I'm gonna get a bunch of them. I really love cinnamon rolls. Mission accomplished. We have the donuts. We are in El Cajon, by the way, and I love El Cajon. Shout out to El Cajon. I really want to reflect in this vlog that a lot of people feels like a bad feeling when they go to the mechanic. They really don't trust their mechanics. They think that they're gonna rip them off. I just have to say that I feel blessed because I found the best mechanics that exist. I feel like they're helping me more than they should. So shout out to California Westies for being one of the most honest mechanics I've ever been to. And that's really hard to find, and more in the US. They're just my angels. So thank you so much, California Westies. And now I'm gonna bring you some donuts.
Arrived.
Let's bring the donuts. Ooh, somebody slept on the wheel. ¿Qué onda? ¿Estáis solos aquí? Oh, ¿te gusta el chocolate? ¿Tú quieres un donut? Ese es de fresa. ¿De frambuesa te gusta?
Sí, está bien. Sí.
Ok.
Gracias.
De nada. I'm not really too sure what is wrong with my van. It sounds like ta 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 ta. That's not good. I want to make sure it's okay and nothing really serious. So when it's idling, the revolutions go up and down. The idle is just messed up. So, and Julio today is gonna help me out with some electrical again. If you follow this vlog for a little while, you probably already know Julio. Julio is a big part of this vlog and he's becoming one of my best friends. Te he traído unos donuts. Julio!
Thank you.
¿Cuál te has cogido? ¿El de chocolate?
Sí.
Oh, bueno. Si eres bueno te doy otro.
I'm always good.
I'm just looking forward every time when I'm coming to the mechanic, catching up with the boys, you know. Right now I'm waiting for them to open up a spot so we can take a look on my van. Hopefully it's nothing serious, so let's cross fingers. We just came back from the test drive and we just changed some airlines and it fixed the issue, so that's great. And it's not even 9:30 in the morning and we're already fixed up, so we're gonna talk to Julio and see if we can start working on the electrical. Julio passed this wire from the bottom of the vehicle and now we're gonna connect it to the alternator. We're doing this because now when I'm driving, the alternator is going to be charging my batteries of the solar system. So in days that it's raining or days that I'm not really getting a lot of sun, this is gonna be a game changer. I'm pretty stoked that Julio is helping with this.
Pues lo que más vale es que, as long as you're happy with what you're doing, that's all that matters.
Aquí tenemos a Don Carlos y Don Julio working hard or hardly working.
I'm gonna try to break something so you come back and eat tomorrow or next week, okay?
Okay.
Oh, sorry, I forgot. I should have told you that.
I saw a lot of comments saying that Julio is ranking things improper, so I come here, and that's not true.
It might not be him though.
It might not be him. This one is 120, this one is going to be 12 volts, so this means I don't have to have my inverter on to have electricity. Julio, ¿tengo que venir otro día o qué?
Sí, es que tus followers tienen razón, vas a tener que regresar.
Big Julio.
Absolutely, big Julio. We won't say the other part.
Bye to California Westies, the only place that they know what they're doing. In this part of the video, I'm going to share with you tips to park on the city, tips to park when you're traveling full time, and when you are camping. So right now I'm going to start with stealth camping. And what I mean when I say stealth camping is that you're going to be unnoticed by anybody around you. Everything I'm about to say, you can apply it to any state, basically. And normally when you're going to have the most problems is where you are by the beach. Means Florida is really bad, California is really bad. Areas where you're by the ocean, by the rivers, by beautiful scenarios, normally you have more issues finding good places to park for the night. So these are some tips, guys. Look for walls that have no windows and maybe bushes, trees that are normally not in front of people's houses are normally a good bet because you're not going to have anybody calling on the cops, because 80% of the times when the cops knock on your door is because somebody around call on them. You got to minimize that situation. Don't park in front of houses where you see that there is people still awake, where you see lights on, doors open, people coming in and out. If you're trying to cook or make any noise, do it somewhere else before you're going to go to your place of sleeping. Places that I've never had any issues is normally churches. So if you see a church and a lot of parking, not a private parking lot, but parking in front of a church, that's a great place to park. One thing that you should watch out is never parking in front of a white picket fence house that has roses and the American flag hanging. That house is most likely going to call on the cops if they see your van, or if your van is old or rusty or it doesn't look good to their standards. If you see other vans that are already parked in that street and it's only one van, do not park behind that van. They already found the spot. They deserve the spot. A lot of people might not agree with me when you see if you are looking for a spot, like let's say it's 9 p.m. and you see this perfect street, but there is already one van there. Just respect that person. Respect that person. They already got there before you and they got the spot. So don't ruin it for them. I know that a lot of people on YouTube is recommending, oh yeah, park where you see more vans. It depends. Other areas that you can park is in front of businesses that are already closed, and make sure that you leave before they open so they never know that you were there. And when I'm saying businesses, I'm saying on the street, not on their private parking. If you don't have permission, you do not park in private property. I want to mention too that it's not the same if you are just passing by one town and you're gonna just spend 1 or 2 days there, that if you fully live in the same town for a long time, like let's say you have a job in that town, if you're just one day here, another day there, it doesn't really matter too much where you stay. I would suggest that if you wanna stick around the area for a little while, you find several different spots and every night you move around. Places to park when you are traveling full time and you're on the road, park in Walmart. I'm not a fan of Walmart. I think it's one of the most disgusting places to park when you live in a van. Makes you feel like you're a homeless. I don't know, the last time I stayed in a Walmart is probably like 5 years ago. Other places that you can park when you're on the road is gas stations. Normally almost every gas station, if you park kind of on the side, they won't care that you're there for like 7 hours. Also rest areas. I stayed in a lot of rest areas. I actually love rest areas when I'm traveling or in between places. Also truck stops, but it's not my favorite because normally it's very loud and a lot of trucks are pulling in and out of the parking lot during the entire night, so it's not a really good sleep in my opinion. But some people like the truck stops. I do not like them. I'd rather a rest area. There are gyms here in the US that are 24 hours, so the parking lot is always open. That's an option too. I would not do it every day. When you want to go camping or live full time in the wild, what I would do is definitely research the area that you're gonna go. In the United States, there is areas that are called BLM. That's public land that you can stay up to 15 days without moving. In a lot of places in the country, if you want to pay for parking, you can always camp in national parks and make sure to book them in advance, because sometimes when you go in the high season, there is no campsite. Have that in mind. I'm not a big fan of paying for parking, so I barely stayed in campgrounds, but sometimes I did stay in campgrounds. And then there is a lot of people that when they go to the public land, they see somebody camping there and they just go ahead and park right next to them. Do not do that. Who told you that that's a good idea? If you see somebody that go out there in nature, normally they want to be alone. Don't leave trash behind. And even if you park somewhere and there is some trash, I would suggest that you clean it up. I do that all the time, even in the city. We need to preserve our places to park because we already lost so many places to park. During the 10 years that I've been doing van life, I've seen spots like this one I'm right now disappearing and not being an option anymore for a van lifer. I will never share exact places where I park. You used to be able to park in this spot the entire day, and now because of people, influencers, that they've been sharing all this location all over Instagram and YouTube, this exact location, by the way. Now this spot is 2-hour parking. So thank you so much to all these rich van lifers that don't need to live in a van, but they're just ruining it for all of us. It's one of the reasons why I will never share my locations. It's one of my boundaries. I'm never going to share the spots I love because I will lose them. Makes total sense. So make sure that you find the spots that you like and you don't share them with everybody because you will lose them too. So if you have any questions, make sure to leave them in the comments. I think I touch a lot of subjects and things about where to park and how to find a parking spot so you don't get bothered, the kind of vehicle that you're gonna drive, the size of your vehicle, and the appearance of your vehicle, because it's going to change everything.